Mike North. You can hear him every Sunday night at 9. You can hear him with Steve Cochran every Friday afternoon at 5:50. Watch him daily. His 30 and 5 video commentaries at 560WIND.com. Good morning, Mike.
What's up, guys? How you going? You getting ready for All-Star game?
Well, I was going to ask you. I know you're going to watch the game because you're in the business, but I haven't watched an All-Star game with any interest, even nowadays when it's supposed to mean something. Have they really lost their luster at this point?
They did, but now it seems to be back with the influx of young stars, Trumbull, Trout, Bryce Harper. A lot of people want to see these young guys. The Home Run Derby was received well last night. It is the only one that is somewhat legitimate of any of the All-Star games. 12 guys show up to play 6-on-6 in the Pro Bowl, and, they want to get rid of that. The hockey, nobody cares about that. The NBA All-Star game is just, all offense, no defense. This one here is for a game, home field advantage, and I think that it's starting to climb back, but they still are going to have the perception that a lot of people look at it as just an exhibition game. I tend to call it an event because a lot of the All-Star memories go in baseball lore, where the other All-Star memories in football, basketball, and hockey, nobody even cares, but Ted Williams hitting big home runs, Carl Hubble striking 5 guys out in a row, including Ruth and Gehrig. That's stuff for exhibition games you don't talk about. So it is an event, but there's still people that can't tell the difference between the exhibition and the actual real thing. But they do gain a game. In the last 2 years, the National League has gotten that home field advantage and has won in the World Series.
Yeah, I guess it does matter. Amy, have you figured out who won the home run derby when you watched it at Comiskey?
Yeah, in 2003, Garrett Anderson. He was from the Angels, but I remember it was between him and Albert Pujols, and he had 9 homers in the final round and 22 overall.
Yeah, Garrett Anderson, who was a steady player, but nobody expected that. I remember. And Albert Pujols, who would have guessed it, not in the All-Star game after taking the $260 million to go to L.A. You put that kind of investment in, your guy's not in the Midsummer Classic. Something didn't go right.
I had a girlfriend a number of years ago.
Really?
Turning the tables here. Who told me after we had been going out for a while that one night she was out with Kurt Heinrich and had to drive him to the hospital. She never did tell me the rest of the story, but he's in the news this morning. Are you excited about that?
Kurt Heinrich. Well, you know what? You got a guy that has been with the club since 2003. He was their first pick. He knows the system. The players like him. He's tough. He basically gets lost in Atlanta. Who doesn't? He went to Atlanta, and you know what? It just never panned out there for him. But I think it's a great pickup. Derrick Rose isn't going to be around till probably March or April. So, I call this almost a lost season. If they would happen to get into the playoffs, I don't know what would happen if Derrick Rose was able to come back in April and May. Do you play him the last month or two? I guess if he's okay, you try it. But next year, basically going out to get Kirk Heinrich, you got Teague as the other point guard. So they're planning on playing most of the year, if not all of the year, without Derrick Rose next year.
And it's good for Kirk. He still has his home here in the suburbs.
Right. He still plays hard, Amy.
People love him. He's a likable guy.
Comes out to give 100%. Of course, nobody's going to replace Derrick Rose, but he will be a guy that will facilitate, make the club. You still got Noah. You still got Boozer. You still got Taj Gibson. You still got players on this team that can perform. So he is a steadying influence in a year where you're missing your leader.
And then Tony Kukoc will come back next week. Is that right?
Yeah, Tony Kukoc is going to come back, and Will Perdue was seen around the United Center looking for his shorts.
Still has that bump on his shoulder.
All of them. Those were the great years. And, Will Perdue was a number 1 pick, and he's parlayed into sportscasting.
I thought he was down surfing, and he's the guy from...
That's Luke Longley.
Oh, that's Luke Longley.
He bought 26 miles.
I get all those white people mixed up.
I used to call Luke Weddington and Purdue 21 feet of useless white center. And you know what?
Go out there, foul shack, and then come back to the bench.
My God, Luke Longley bought 26 miles of beachfront property in Australia. He should just call it Jordan's bluff, because Jordan's the guy that made that money for God's sake.
21 feet of white guys.
21 feet of useless white center. I used to tell Weddington that. He goes, well, I did. The one year I averaged 5 points and 3 rebounds, and I won a couple games first by hitting the last second shot.
I saw Weddington in the supermarket checkout line the other day, and he's puffed up slightly.
Yeah, I told him, I go, you look like an assassin from overseas. What happened to your hair? What happened to you?
He's collecting for the Russian mob now.
If you don't know him and he's got a bag in his hand, you're terrified. He's coming for money.
Run.
So mean.
Thank you, sir.
All right, guys.
Bye, Mike.
Mike North, Sunday night at 9, right here.